Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. We're from Group 9. We're presenting the subject that is language and mind or psycholinguistics. Next. Okay, so Group 9, there are four members of Group 9. First is Sekar, Fatinah, Hasibuan, and then Devi, Nabilla, Fitri, Jauzia, Yusi, and Nabilla, and Fakhriya, Faya, Hanifa. Next.
Alright, so the first slide we have psycholinguistics. The study of language and the mind, or we call it psycholinguistics, is concerned first and foremost with the acquisition of language. This can mean both the acquisition of one's mother tongue natively and a foreign language as an adult. In this area, one is interested in the stages of acquisition and in seeing how they are structured. A related area within psycholinguistics is that of language and the brain. Often we call it neurolinguistics, especially concerning disturbances which may arise from disease or an accident. Psycholinguistics, or psychology of language, is the study of the psychological and neurobiological factors that enable humans to acquire, use, and understand language. Initial forays into psycholinguistics were largely a philosophical venture, due mainly to a lack of cohesive data on how the human brain functioned. Listening, reading, speaking, and writing are called as the four of language skills. Specifically, psycholinguistics helps to understand the difficulties of these four skills, both intrinsic and extrinsic difficulties.
The second is acquiring language. There are two types of language learning. First, naturalistic language learning is a process of learning a language naturally, consciously, and unintentionally. This one usually happens in a multilingual society. Second, formal language learning is a process where someone learns foreign language purposefully in a formal educational setting. Next. Relation between psycholinguistics and language acquisition. Therefore, psycholinguistics approach supports the idea that language acquisition is innately determined by birth, since both acquisition and improvement in language are a biological process. Acquiring a language requires perception skills, cognition abilities, and other mechanisms that are related with language. Language acquisition for any generation of children consists of achieving mastery in four main areas, that is acquiring. First, a set of syntactic rules which specify how sentences are constructed from phrases and phrases out of words. Second, a set of morphological rules which specify how words are constructed from morphemes, that is, grammatical units smaller than the word. Third, a set of phonological rules which specify how words, phrases, and sentences are pronounced. Fourth, a set of semantic rules which specify how words, phrases, and sentences are interpreted, that is, what their meaning is. Next. Third is how humans produce speech. The speech chain starts with a speaker that has been through some complicated set of neuromuscular processes and then produces an acoustic signal that represents a thought, idea, or message that needs to be conveyed to a listener who must then convert the signal to arrive at a similar message.
Okay, so now is human brain and language. The study of language in relation to the brain is called neurolinguistics. So here are the part of our brain. The first we have arcular fasciculus. This part is responsible for repetition and feedback in language and damage to which leads to conduction of aphasia. There's also an area on the top of the brain which is involved in the muscular movements and coordination during speech production. Is known as the supplementary motor area. And unfortunately, this part is not mentioned, it's not shown in this map of the brain. So supplementary motor area is literally on the top, on the top of the midlane of our brain's hemisphere. Next. And from investigations of patients with impairments to both speech production and understanding, which were carried out in the second half of the 19th century, one was that there are two key areas in the brain associated with these basic language functions. There are two parts. The first is Broca's area and Wernicke's area. Broca's area is named after the French surgeon Paul Broca, who described the area in 1864. This area is approximately an inch in size and is located towards the temple in the left hemisphere of the brain and is associated with language production. And then second is Wernicke's area. This area is named after the German scientist Carl Wernicke in 1874. This area is slightly larger than Broca's area, is to be found behind the left ear, and is responsible for the understanding of language. Hemispheres will similar, but actually the left hemisphere is the most powerful and dominant, and it normally controls language. And around 90% of human race are born with their brain wired for language. Next.
Speech disorder. There are Broca's aphasia and Wernicke's aphasia. Broca's aphasia difficult to understand any complex sentence and to respond the sentence properly. People with Broca's aphasia also known as agrammatic. Wernicke's aphasia talks fluently, syntactically correct with good intonation, but nonsense. Patients with this aphasia often producing jargon and nonsense words. Next. Wernicke's aphasia example. Could you tell me where you are? Yes. I just don't feel too good. Are you in hospital at the present time? That is really one thing. Really, I feel bad, you know. I'm not really feeling too good. What's wrong with you, Frank? Well, I don't know. To be honest, there will be a few days. I feel shy. Saturday was bad. I get bad. Sunday and today. Where do you live? I don't know, to be honest. We've got a lot of things, my dad. Do you live in East Kalar? Sorry? Yeah, well, fair outside things you cannot do warn. I can talk, but I cannot show up myself. I can't put the voice. It will be one thing if I could talk, but I cannot talk so people can see it. Are you married, Frank? I was news to do to be. Next. Broca's aphasias example second. Describe this picture. Mother and dad. No, mother dishes. Uh, running over water and floor, and they uh wiping dishes and two kids. Stool and cookie jar, uh, cabinet and stool, uh, tipping over and bed, and somebody gonna get hurt.
All right, so that's for our presentation for today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the chance. Thank you for your time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.